And welcome everybody to our Cosmology segment. I'm your host Dan, aka smAsho. Let's see if we can enlighten, confuse, and entertain you with some information about cosmology and the way things are going these days with things like astrophysics, heliophysics, geology, cosmology, etc. It could be a long ride. So we're not going to pick a random number today, although we regularly do, to select an item at the Neil Gehrels Swift Observatory, the Burst Alert Telescope monitoring X-rays. Today's featured item is not random at all. It's the Geminga Pulsar, one of the crazier objects in the Milky Way galaxy. It's blamed for some positrons showing up at Earth. One of the new theories is that some of those positrons may be coming from Geminga. So it's quite a relativistic particle-producing pulsar, to say the least. Those are the X-ray transients from the Geminga Pulsar. Now, Geminga is, I believe it's this one out here. It's on the opposite side of the Milky Way galaxy from the Cygnus arm. I know we spend a lot of time talking about Cygnus. Now we're talking about this area over here. It's one of these pulsars over in this area near Crab and so on. Let's just play a little tidbit from this here. I think it just showed us where Geminga is. And I apologize for that temporary aside. Let's just let this play. Anyway, it's all the way out there on the very right of the imagery. And we'll show you some imagery of Geminga. If you want to have a read about it, check out this SciTech Daily article. It's entitled Long-Standing Antimatter Mystery May Be Solved by Discovery of Nearby Pulsar's Gamma Ray Halo. So Geminga quite bright in gamma and not bright in a lot of other wavelengths. Let's take a look on the... what are we looking at? This is the CDS portal, and this is hydrogen alpha imagery. So we're going to zoom way in, way in. And this shows you the very, very large structures. This is just hydrogen alpha. And you can see this ribbon-like structure around here. Now this could be associated with the pulsar, or perhaps not. My guess would be that it probably is, as it's very, very massive, and it looks like it has one of its poles oriented at us. Let's check another wavelength. So here it is in X-ray frequency, and we'll zoom way in here to show you the shape of things at Geminga. It's probably a polar, as we don't really see any other structures associated with it. Anyway, whatever the massive radio source is, it's quite interesting, wouldn't you say? And interestingly enough, on the 2MASS, which is an infrared spectra, University of Massachusetts project, we see a heap and helping of nothing. Pretty much no thermal emissions whatsoever from that area. There's the massive zoom out on the 2MASS. And the 2MASS is a great set of data there, encompassing a huge portion of the sky. And let's talk about something a little different, a little bit closer to home. Let's talk about the Greek mythology associated with Uranus. Get your head out of Uranus and stop talking about castrations. The mythology behind Uranus is quite questionable. Anyway, Uranus is believed to be the father of the Titans. And there's an incestuous thing going on there, and I won't get into the gory details of what was actually going on, but if you look up the mythology of Uranus, it's very interesting in that Uranus is... Put it this way, the way the Greek mythology is, how did they even know Uranus was there? They couldn't see it with their crude telescopes or whatever they were. I think they had telescopes back then, right? In Greek mythology, there were no telescopes, although Uranus is the Roman name, I guess. Anyway, I'll just let this scroll here. I don't want to get into the gory details, but there was a castration and there was blood which gave rise to the Furies and things like this. It's, it's pretty... Okay, I'll read portion of it. Are you ready for this? Further, according to the Theogony, when Cronus castrated Uranus, from Uranus's blood which splattered onto the earth, came the Erinnes, otherwise known as the Furies, the Giants, and the Meliae. According to the Theogony, Cronus threw the severed genitals into the sea, thalassa, around which a, quote, white foam spread and, quote, grew into the goddess Aphrodite, although, according to Homer, Aphrodite was the daughter of Zeus and Dione. So some interesting mythology there, and again, I'll leave it at that. Now, interesting about Uranus is Uranus's sort of orientation. So it has a complex ring system, and so let's just zoom back out here. Now this is a crude GIF of the planets. Mercury. Of course, this is not to scale, obviously, as you can see the size of Jupiter and Saturn here. So you've got Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and here's Uranus. And you can see the way it's what we would call its south pole. Like in terms of the Earth, the Earth's north pole is technically south because your compass needle is north and it's attracted to a south pole. The Earth's north pole is actually south, and I don't want to keep getting into that and harping on it or anything like that. But the point is, the sun would be over here, and Uranus is, again, what we would call the south pole, is oriented in line with the ecliptic plane. So no other planet is in that sort of orientation besides Uranus. Get your head out of Uranus if you don't know about the magnetosphere of that weird planet. It's a weird planet, and there's theories as to why this is. Must have been a massive collision, right? And so, basically what's going on here is that Uranus's pole, one of its poles, just point directly at the sun. It's in line with the ecliptic plane, and the other one just points directly away from the sun. And I just figured I'd cover that. Does it tell us something about the history of the solar system? Perhaps. How did the Greeks know so much stuff that they had no business knowing? By the way, that's the day we recorded this video. It's August 2nd.